In the previous lecture, we have already discussed the morpheme, morph, and allomorph. And now we are going to discuss the types of morphemes in details. So as we all know that the morpheme is the smallest indivisible unit of meaning or grammatical function. So morpheme can represent the lexical meaning, which is like the book, run or happy, or it also represents the grammatical information like the plural sa, past tense ed or comparative er. So a word can simple consisting of a single morpheme, that is the dog, play, or it can also have the complex morpheme, means more than one morpheme, like the dogs, playing, and happiness. So these words have more than one morpheme. Understanding morpheme is thus central to grasping how words encode meaning, how they are structured, and how languages use them to build vocabulary. So, therefore, we can classify morphemes into two broader categories. One is the free morphemes and other is the bond morphemes. So these are the fundamental description or the fundamental categorization of the morpheme. So free morphemes can function independently as words, while the bond morphemes must attach to another element. That we have already discussed. Free morpheme has the independent meaning, but the bond morpheme does not have the independent meaning. Their meaning depends on the uh, combination with other free morpheme. If the free bond morpheme occurs with the other free morpheme, so it gives the meaning. If it occurs independently, so it does not give any meaning. Like we have the word books. So in the books, we have the book, which is the independent, it has independent meaning, but the sa is the plural morpheme, it does not have the independent meaning, but when it occurs with the word book, so it gives the meaning of plural. Moreover, the bond morpheme can be further subcategorized into affixes like the prefix, suffix, infix, and circumfixes, and zero morpheme, empty morpheme, and so forth. So that is why the bond morpheme has different categories or different subdivisions. So these division we can understand in this diagram. So in this diagram, we can understand that morpheme basically divided into two parts. One is the free morpheme and the other is the bond morpheme. So free morpheme further divided into the lexical morpheme and the grammatical morpheme. And bond morpheme are divided into different categories. So first thing is the affixes. So bond morpheme has all the affixes are called the bond morpheme. Affixes means the three terms. One is the prefix and second is the suffix and third one is the infix. And bond morpheme also has the inflectional morpheme, derivational morpheme, portmanteau morpheme, empty morpheme, and zero morpheme. So inflectional and derivational morpheme we have also discussed in the previous lecture, which is about the morpheme. But now we are discussing in some details what is the inflectional and derivational. First we understand what is the free morpheme. So free morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit in a language that can occur independently as word without requiring attachment to other morpheme. But unlike the bond morpheme, like such as the affixes, free morpheme can function autonomously and carry lexical or the grammatical meaning. So they are the foundation in morphology because they form the lexical base upon which the complex words are constructed. So the free morpheme is the main lexical base, so in which we can attach lots of other bond morpheme to make the complex words or the complex predicate. Free morphemes. So free morphemes in English like noun, verbs, adjective, and functional words. So all these words comes under the free morpheme. So nouns like the book, cat, water, verbs are the run, eat, sing, and adjectives are happy, tall, old. and functional words are on, in, the, and. So all these words occurs as a free morpheme in English. And in the same way, in Hindi Urdu, we have also the free morpheme. So we have the word like the noun, verbs, adjective, and all these words comes under the free morpheme. So now like the ghar, किताब, verb like khana, jana, adjective like acha, bada. So all these are the free morphemes in Hindi Urdu. So free morphemes serve as the semantic backbone of utterance since they carry the lexical meaning independently. So they have the independent meaning. That is why we call it the lexical words. So lexical word means they do not need any other morpheme to give its meaning. They have their own meaning. They have their own content meaning. Free morpheme can be broadly divided into two types. One is the lexical morpheme and the other is the functional morphemes. So lexical morpheme or lexical free morphemes are those morphemes which carry the rich semantic content. So they refer to objects, actions, they refers to objects, actions, qualities, or states and typically belong to open classes of words. So that is why we call it the lexical morpheme. They have their meaning independently and they are very rich in semantic content. So they are not their meaning is not does not depend on the any other words. They have their own meaning. So example of lexical free morphemes in English. So they are same morpheme like the cat, book, water. So they are the lexical morpheme. So all the noun, all the verb, all the adjective, all the adverbs in both languages, Hindi, English, Urdu, they are comes under the lexical free morphemes. So we have the example of verbs like run, eat, sing, khana, jana. We have the example of adjective like happy, tall, old, and acha, bada. We have the example of adverbs like quickly, often, here. In Urdu, we have ab, waha. So all these morphemes comes under the lexical morpheme in both languages, in Hindi, Urdu, or English. So lexical morphemes are the part of open word classes, meaning new item can be added. So these parts of speech or these lexical words can also be borrowed from the other languages. So they are open word class in any languages. So they can be added from the other languages also. So because as we know that the English language has many borrowed words from any other language. Even though Urdu and Hindi, they have the lots of borrowed words from Sanskrit, from Arabic, from Persian, from Turkish. So that's why we called it the lexical word class. So they are open in nature. They are also called the open word classes. The other free morpheme is called the functional free morphemes. So the functional free morpheme primarily serve the grammatical purpose rather than carrying the rich semantic meaning. So they belong to closed classes of the word. So in Hindi, Urdu, or in English, all the other parts of speech like article, pronoun, preposition, postposition, conjunction, interjection, all these words comes under the functional morphemes. So functional morpheme does not have the content meaning, does not have their own independent meaning, or they do not have the rich content meaning, but they are fulfilling the grammatical criteria in any sentence or the grammatical requirement of the sentence to make the sentence past or to make the sentence future, to change the just case, or there are lots of other things. So we are using the functional morpheme for preposition, for past position, post position, but there is no they do not have the semantically rich content in the functional morphemes. So the examples of functional morphemes in English are articles like the, a, And in Hindi, we have ek, or uh, we have the another example of free morpheme like pronouns. So we have I, he, she, they. We have many other example from Hindi Urdu also. And in the preposition and postposition are also comes under the functional morpheme. So the English example are on, in, with, and the Urdu examples are मैं, के साथ, के नीचे, ऊपर, under. So all these comes under as the postposition in Urdu. So they all are called the functional morpheme, not the lexical morpheme. They are fulfilling the grammatical requirement in a sentence, not giving the content meaning. The other example of free morpheme are conjunction and auxiliaries. So in English, we have the word and, but, because, and in Urdu, we have or, lekin, chunanche. All these words comes under the conjunction. In English, auxiliary verb we have is, are, have, do. In Hindi, Urdu we have hai, tha. So all the auxiliaries comes under the functional morpheme. So functional morpheme belong to the closed classes, meaning the set is relatively fixed. So their meaning is very fixed. So they cannot change their meaning. They do not have the different realization, or their meaning is very fixed in any language or in any sentence. Now come to the bond morpheme. So bond morpheme is a morpheme that cannot occur independently as a word. Instead, it must be attached to a free morpheme to express the meaning. So we have already discussed that bond morpheme does not have its own meaning independently. Their meaning depends on the occurrence with the other free morpheme. If it occurs with the other free morpheme, so it gives the meaning. So bond morpheme generally serve grammatical, inflectional, or derivational functions. For example, suffixes like ed or s in English alter the tenses or number but cannot stand alone as word. So in English, we have the word ed, or we have the en, or we have many other suffixes which comes under the bond morpheme. And we have the plural s, or we have ing form for the verb, or we have the for adjective est. So all these are the function bond morpheme. So they cannot occur alone, but they are occurring with other free morpheme to give its meaning. So Hockett defines that word morpheme functions only as a part of words, depends upon the base of their occurrence. So they are not the content morphemes, or they are not the lexical morpheme which has their own meaning independently, but their meaning depends on the occurrence of other words. Katamba similarly states that bond morphemes are always attached to some other morpheme and cannot exist in isolation. So, for example, the inflectional bond morphemes in English like sa, ed, ing, so they all occur with the root word dog, walk, or sing. If they are occur independently, so it does not give any meaning. In the same way, we have the derivational bond morpheme like ness or re. So, in the word happy, it becomes the happiness. Or in the word right, so when you add the prefix re, so it becomes the rewrite. So these are the derivational bond morphemes. Bond morphemes can also, in Hindi Urdu, we have the examples of bond morpheme from the inflectional bond morpheme or the derivational bond morpheme. So in the inflectional bond morpheme, they do not change the word class. Like we have the word ladka, it's become ladke, kitab, it's become kitabein, likhta hu, it's become likhti hu. So the a change into the a to make it plural, and kitab change into, we are adding the a suffix to make it plural. And for likhta hu or for likhti hu, so ta and ti have the different gender agreement. So these are called the inflectional bond morpheme. So because if you are adding those suffix in the language, so they are not changing the word class. For example, in derivational bond morpheme, so that is called the dar. So dar is the derivational suffix. So when you add in the maza, so it become the mazedar. So dar, which is the derivational suffix, so is the meaning of having or possessing. So it changes the whole meaning of the word maza, it becomes the mazedar. And we have the word bekar. So in bekar, be is the derivational bond morpheme, which is change their meaning into negative. So be means without. It gives the meaning of negation. So kar means work or the use. So the word kar change into the negative or they give the sense of without. Now we come to the bond morpheme. All the affixes are also comes under the bond morpheme. So in every language we have affixes. So affixes means we have the prefixes in the language, we have suffixes in the language, we have infixes in the language, and we have circumfixes in the language. So affixes is a bond morpheme that attach to a root or base. Affixes are not words by themselves but are essential in formation of complex words. So they are not the independent words. So that is why they comes under the bond morpheme. Because the bond morpheme, the meaning of bond morpheme depends in the occurrence of the other words. If it occurs in the combination with other free morpheme, so it gives the meaning. So according to their position, affixes are categorized into prefixes, suffixes, infixes, and circumfixes. So prefix means any affix that attach before the stem. So we have the example like replay. So in the word replay, re is the prefix. And suffixes are attached after the stem, or we can say the stem, base, or root word, or any, we can also say the free morpheme, or not only the free morpheme, in any word it can attached. So that is called the suffixes. So in the word happiness, ness is the suffix. Infix is inserted inside the stem. So in English we do not have the example of infixes, but in many other languages like Urdu, Persian, we have some example of infixes. So in Urdu, we have the example like masjid become masajid. So is the example of English. For example, here we can understand it like when you have the word like masjid and change into the masajid. So here we are adding the a infix between the masjid. So that is called is the infix because it is added between the word. As we all know that the prefix added before the word, suffix is added after the word, and infix is added between the word. And other example of affixes are circumfix. So circumfix is the discontinuous affix with parts because its one parts occur at the initial position and the other parts occur at the final position. For example, we have the word from the German language. So that is called Asa. The basic word is called seg, is the basic word. And we are attaching the circumfix in this word to give the meaning of past participle. So we are adding the two part, like the one is the J and the other is ta. So both the parts added together in the word seg to give the meaning of past participle. So the this circumfix is the affix which added together two parts, one at the initial position and other at the final position. As we know that in suffix we are adding only one part at the end. In prefix we are adding only one part at the initial. But circumfix means we are adding two part of the affix together, one at the initial position and other at the final position. So affixes can be categorized into derivational morpheme and the inflectional morpheme. Derivational morphemes means they change the lexical category or the meaning. So that means they are changing the word class. For example, if you are making from noun to verb, from verb to noun, so you are adding some suffixes. So that is why they call the derivational suffixes. But if you are adding any suffix which is not change the lexical class, like the word class or the parts of speech, or does not give the any new meaning, just change some grammatical features. It is called the inflectional suffix. So the study of affixes is the central to morphological theory. So we have the example of prefixes. So prefixes occur at the beginning of the base. So they often change the meaning, but not necessarily word class. So any prefix which attached before the word, it can only give the new meaning, like the meaning of some negation or meaning doing something, doing again. So like the example of unhappy, we have the un is the negative prefix, and in the word rewrite we have the re is doing something again, and we have the inaccurate. So that is the in is also the prefix which is give the meaning of negation. So all these prefixes comes under this bond morpheme. And we have also the example of prefixes from Urdu Hindi. So in Urdu Hindi, we have the word like the be, we have the word like na, we have the word like bad. So be is used as a be khauf, na used as a na kam, and bad used as a badnaam. So these are all called the prefixes in Hindi Urdu. Now come to the suffixes. Suffixes are also the bond morpheme, and suffixes occurs at the end of the base. So they may change the grammatical category and add grammatical marker or drive new words. So some suffixes can change the grammatical category. That means they can change the word class, but some just change uh, some grammatical information, and they are not driving the new words. So those suffix which change their word class is called the derivational suffix, and those suffix which does not change their grammatical class are called inflectional suffix. So here the word er, ly, and nes are the derivational suffix because it changed the word class. From teach it become teacher, so teach is the verb and teacher is the noun. From quick it become quickly, so quick is the verb and quickly is the adverb. So these are example of the derivational suffixes. Now we have example of Urdu Hindi. So the word like the dosti, so from dost it become dosti, and pani, so it become the pani wala. From pan it become the bachpan. So these the pan, wala, and e are the suffixes in Urdu, and they might be considered as derivational suffixes because it changes the meaning from dost to dosti, from pani to paniwala, from bach to bachpan. And the other example of suffixes in Hindi Urdu comes from the inflectional morpheme, like kitab become kitabein, ladka become ladke. So suffixation is one of the most productive process in Indo-European or Indo-Aryan languages. Now come to the infixes that I already give you the example of masjid to masajid. So infixes are the inserted inside a root word or stem or base. So infixes are the affix that attached or inserted inside the root. So they are common in Austro-Asian languages and the Semitic languages. Semitic language means the language Arabic languages and Hebrew languages. So Urdu, Hindi example. So we can take the one example from Urdu, and it comes from the Arabic or Persian background. Like masjid become the masajid. And we have the another example of Tagalog. So there is a word like sulat means right, or sumulat means to right. So here we are adding mu between the word sulat. So it is considered as a infix which attach inside the word. So true infixation is rare in Hindi Urdu, but emphatic colloquial forms exist. So this is an example from the some work of from Anvita Abbi. So he give the Infixes, example of infixes in the reduplication expression. So like the word chota and mota. So here we have some reduplication with the infixation adding which in the word. Now come to the circumfix. So we have already discussed circumfixes attached simultaneously at the beginning and the end of the word. So the, the circumfix mean the two part of the affix are attached simultaneously in one word. So one part attached at the beginning and the other part attached at the last. So there is an example of infixes like we have the German lab for the love. So if you are making into the past loved, so we are attaching the circumfix. So circumfix means the two part. One part attached at the initial position and the other part attached at the final position together or simultaneously. So it becomes the galloped. So we are adding two parts and these two parts comes under the circumfix. And there is an example of Indonesian example. So ajar means teach. So we are adding the circumfix k and un together with the ajar. So it becomes k ajaran. Incident of teaching. Circumfix lack structure in Hindu Urdu. I do not know how much this example fit into in this context, but I just try to give you some concept to understand. Like the in Hindu Urdu, the causative formation often involves suffixation with internal vowel change. Like pina is the drink, it becomes the pilana. So we are adding la into this example. So this can be the example of infix, not the circumfix. Circumfix are less common globally but are morphologically significant in certain language families. The other types of bond morpheme is called portmanteau morphemes. So it is the types of bond morpheme. So portmanteau morphemes means a single form that expresses more than one grammatical features at the same time. So in another words, we can say that it combines what would normally be conveyed by two or more separate morphemes into one unified unit. So that means a one single morph or the morpheme, one single morpheme represent the different grammatical expression. So in English, we have the example am. So am express together the the grammatical category for first person, singular, and present tense. So these features that are merged within a single morpheme. So if in any sentence we are using the word am, so it represents the subject should be singular, which is I, and it also represent the person. The person should be the first person I, and it also represent the present tense. So one morpheme am represent more than one grammatical category, which comes under the portmanteau morpheme. Thank you.